Hello everyone, it's Dr. Alford. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I am going to show you how to combine images and lettering or words to create a personalized embroidery. So stay tuned. Hello everyone, it's Dr. Alford. Thanks for joining me today. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to combine an image and lettering so that you can create a personalized embroidery. So I want to thank those who've made some comments and suggestions, so keep them coming. I'm happy to answer or do videos on things that you may not be clear on. So if you're excited about this video, click the like button. If you don't want to miss any upcoming videos, hit the subscribe button. If you have comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. I'm happy to answer them for you. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing is we're going to go ahead and select whatever project we're working on. That's really important when we're trying to figure out what size image that we're going to use and what size hoop should go with it. I'm going to put a link below on the short tutorial how to set up your hoop for your embroidery projects. We're not going to go through that part today. But let's go ahead and get started. I've actually gone ahead and set up a hoop size of, I think this is 120 by 120 millimeters. Now, if you notice in your hoop, you should have a grid mark. It's like grid paper when we were younger, if you've ever done graphs or anything. It's a grid paper with all our grids inside the hoop that should help you center or position your images and lettering. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I like to do is go ahead and select what kind of design I'm going to put in here. What kind of image am I going to use? So for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and use one of the super designs, which is the 6th tab over in the darker blue-gray section at the top of the screen. If you click on that, takes a second, you're going to see all the images that are available, not just this row, but if you look just to the right of the last image, there's a little arrow and a little line above it. If you click on that, it'll open all the images that are in this particular software. We're using the Ultra Premier Plus 2 embroidery software. So in this, these are pre-programmed images that are already available to you. And depending upon what project you're working on, that's what you can select. Everything from animals, there's appliques, there's really pretty borders and designs. There's also buttonholes, which are really cool, and other images for all different kinds of designs, including holidays. So this is really great to start with so that you can start with a pre-programmed design and then create your own. And you can alter these images slightly, and I'm going to show you that here in this video as well. So let's go ahead and pick, I know the Christmas holidays are coming up, and maybe you're working on a special gift or thinking about making gifts or whatever for folks in your family or in your office or whatever. This is a great way to make something really personalized. So let's just do something really simple. We're going to use the Christmas holiday line, and there's lots of things you can choose in this particular motif. Now, you don't have to just select one design. You can use multiple designs in your project. Just remember, it's going to probably take you a little bit longer for the machine to complete the process. So let's go ahead and choose the Christmas tree. That's the first one in the design list of these images. If you go all the way, once you've highlighted whichever one you're going to use, whether it's the tree or the ball or the snowflake, it'll highlight in orange. Then you want to go all the way to the right hand side where it says apply and click that, and it's going to bring up the image. Now this is really cool because it will start with the smallest image available. Now you don't want to make this too much smaller or too much bigger than what the image portrays, because what happens is if you make it too large or too small, sometimes the stitching is a little off. You can go a little bit smaller, you can go a little bit larger, but you're just going to have to play around with it depending upon what you're working on. So there's my image. If you click on it, I'm going to show you one other thing. If you look to the right of your screen, you're going to see all the different colors of threads that are available in that particular design. So there's like 12 different colors that are used, and you can change those if you click on them. Say if you wanted a little bit darker yellow, maybe I wanted to use a more bronzy color, you can change that. It depends on what you want to do. Maybe I don't want to use purple as ornaments. Maybe I want to use red instead. And you could just change that up however you want to do it. So each of these images you can change the coloration a little bit. Now, once you have selected your item, and if you notice, there's actually little dots around each of the image. Every image will come like this, as well as the lettering. That is to help you either enlarge it by dragging the corners up or down to make it large or small. On this one you can't really see it, but in the center there's a little round circle with a cross in the middle, and that will help you center or line up whatever you're doing with the grid lines. You can also rotate this if you so desire, depending upon what you want to accomplish and what design you're doing. So you can totally make this very personalized and a lot of fun. There's a lot of things you can do with it, whatever images you're working with. So once we're happy with the placement of this little Christmas tree, we want to add words. So the next step we're going to do, if you go over to the 5th tab now, on that second row down with the kind of a dark blue gray color, click on letters. Let me enlarge that so you can see it. Okay, so that's the 5th one over. If you click on that, it's going to bring up all the letters that are available. And just like the images, next to the letters there on the right hand side, there's a little drop down box. And these are all the letters, or actually fonts, that are available in this software. So lots to choose from, everything from applique again to children's style of fonts. And this is where you're also going to you would upload your own fonts into this section. Now I've created a video on doing your own fonts from letters from your computer system. So if you'd like to see that, I'll install the link down below in the comments. So it's My Fonts is the area where you would add your own special ones if you wanted to add different fonts that are not available. But in these lists of the different fonts, as you look through them and select the ones you want, I want you to pay attention to one thing. There's going to be a name of that particular font, and then it's going to have numbers next to it. For instance, under this Metro, if you can see it, I'm going to enlarge this so you might be able to see this a little better. There are numbers right next to it. Now it says 12 to 25 millimeters, meaning 12 is probably the optimum size at the smallest, and you shouldn't go more than 25 millimeters. Now, the reason for that on these particular fonts is because if you go too big, then the stitching on the letters may not look as nice. So you want to be careful when you're enlarging or making things too small. So when you're going through your fonts, look and see what size fonts that it recommends in this particular software system. So you want to make sure your fonts are at the optimum size. So for instance, this Jingo is 25 to 55 millimeters, is probably a little bit too big for this particular hoop size. And you'll just have to play around with it some. This one, this Art Deco, is definitely too big. It's 50 to 100 millimeters. I'm going to show you something really quick. Say if you wanted to type, you can test this by typing words in the second box over. That's where you're going to type in your word or letters that you're going to embroider. So I'm going to type in the word Merry, M-E-R-R-Y, and click apply. Now you can see that this is really way too big. As I stated, this one is 50 to 100 millimeters. You really don't want to go too much smaller than that, because the way the embroidery is on that particular font won't be as optimal, and it won't look as nice. So to get rid of these, you just highlight the item, and as soon as it brings up the box around the letters or the image, you can hit the delete key on your keyboard and you'll get rid of it. So let's find a quick font that might look really nice, that would be the appropriate size. And there's lots of things to choose from, so that's the great thing. There's lots of really pretty fonts. I'm gonna go up here. Let's do something, what is that, 25 to 75, that might be too big. Let's look at the Corinthian, that's 15 to 35. Now, I've already got the word Merry still in that box, so I'm going to leave that there. Now, if you scoot on over about halfway into the screen, you can actually change the dimension of that particular wording. So if I wanted just straight across, there's an oblong box, there's a vertical box. I'm going to do the circle clockwise, and you'll see what happens when I hit the apply button. You can see that this is now round, and we're going to enlarge that a little bit so it looks a little bit better on our screen here. So you can see that it types Merry, and then I'm going to type in Christmas, and I'm going to do the reverse circle and click apply. And as you can see, doesn't that look really nice? And now you have a very personalized, if you were doing something for like a baby bib or something, you could put initials on it, or you could just type out words or their name. The one thing that you want to keep in mind when you're doing these projects is once you've selected everything and you're happy with the alignment, everything's centered, and these little guidelines, if you can see here, that little box on for Christmas, make sure that's on the center, and click off that, and then again, move the Merry over just a little bit so it's centered a little bit better. The main thing that you're going to have to remember before you embroider or transfer this to your embroidery machine. Now, I also have a short tutorial on transferring from your computer to your machine, so I'm going to also include that link below. If you click on the Home key, the tab there at the second row down, here you're going to see a few selections that you can do. If you go right about almost in the middle, there's the word combine. And what this is once you're happy with the design, you like the way everything looks, you want to click on that and combine all. And what that's going to do is create one single image, whereas you can make it smaller, make it larger, make it fatter, skinnier, however you want to do it. Again, you can do all sorts of things with this. Maybe you just want to leave it and make it go up in the upper corner, and then maybe you want to type somebody's name. Now you can leave that, and you don't have to combine it to do another line or another name, but what that's going to do, once you center, you can center this, I'll make it easier on you. once you have combined everything, then you can see how this is actually going to embroider. So if you go on the same line here under Home all the way to Design Player, you can actually see which color and which item is going to be sewn first. So it looks like the tree is going to be done first. I don't know if you can see that, but the green is being filled in first. And then we're going to do the tree, and so forth and so on. You can see how that comes together, and then it's going to embroider the names last. So kind of cool. You can see how that plays out. If you want to change any of the colors now, because it's flattened, everything's combined, you now can go in and change out colors. Maybe you don't like the brownish color. Maybe you want to change that to gold or black or whatever. You can go in and double click this and select a better color if you so desire. Now, with that being said, once this dialog box is open, you can see this is Robinson Anton's colors, and that'll be all the color numbers that are available in that particular thread line. There's sulky, there's just a few in this particular one, but you can also coordinate with the numbers in a particular brand of embroidery threads. So once you have selected whatever you want to use and you're happy with it, maybe you want to change it to green. I know 13. And once you highlight the color on the screen, it'll kind of make it a different color. So if you click on number 13, see how that changed to blue? That's the color that we're using. So maybe I want to change everything to green. And it's up to you what colors you want to use and change. And you can do that by just clicking on a color and it'll highlight the color that you want to change. So again, once you're done with this, now you're ready to take this image and transfer it to your machine, and I will link the video up below on how to do that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. If you want to not miss any additional videos that are coming out, click the subscribe button. So thanks again for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.